Hello, Mr. Johnson here again with another just exam update. I've gotten a lot of technical questions over the past couple of days, people wondering about best practices depending on whether they plan on handwriting this exam or if they want to type this exam. And I have some recommendations for you today. So first of all, there's two different ways you can go about this. You can either go with a single device, or you can try to go double device. And double device is a little bit more complicated. It's harder. I don't recommend it for the vast majority of students. However, in some cases it does make sense for you, depending on what types of devices you have available to you and how much you might benefit from some of those, getting rid of some of those limitations. However, I'm going to recommend in most cases that you go with a single device on testing today, just because it's simpler. And but the type of device that's going to be better for you depends on what you're doing. So if you're handwriting this exam, I'm going to recommend that you try to either use your phone or your tablet. So the first method, if you're on an iPhone or an Android device, and this is probably going to be the most popular method, is to simply use the device camera that you have with you. So what you're going to do basically, and you can see my screen now, is you're going to take a picture of each page of your exam, etc. As many pages as you have written. Obviously there's nothing on this page here, and when it comes time to submit and you've written your essay, you're going to take those pictures. And you're just going to take those pictures and save them to your camera roll. And then what you're going to do is go to the exam site itself and go through, and I'll just run through this really quickly with you in a second, but you're going to go to that exam site and you are going to go through the steps there and upload those pictures. The other way, and this is a little bit advanced, and the only reason I would recommend this way is if you want to submit more than 5 pages, because if you're taking photos and submitting photos, you're a little bit limited because they're expecting only 5 photos. You can't upload 6 photos or 7 photos. So if you write more than 5 pages, if you can produce more than 5 pages of prose in 45 minutes, not that words are everything or that word count is everything, there is a way around that. The method, if you're on an iPhone, is to go into your device, into your notes setting on your device, and use the create a new note, okay? But instead of typing in that note, actually hit the camera icon, okay? And then what you're going to be able to do is hit the Scan Documents section. That will bring up the camera, and what it's going to enable you to do is take, photos of all of these. Keep scanning. You can kind of crop them in if you want to, but that's not necessarily necessary. And then what you're going to do is once you've scanned all of your pages for your document, then you're actually going to go into the Share menu of that, and you are going to save to files. And that's an important step because otherwise you won't be able to upload that document, that PDF document is really what it is, to the exam site. But now that I've created both of these, I've saved the PDFs and I've saved the photos. I will show you how to do this on the exam site from a mobile device. So first things first, on exam day, of course, you're going to enter your 8-character AP ID. For right now, I am just going to enter practice and hit continue. Enter all of my personal information. And on your mobile device, unless you have a keyboard, unless you're doing this on an iPad with a keyboard, I wouldn't hit paste response. That's not going to be the most helpful. That's mostly reserved for desktop users. Instead, you're going to attach response. And you've got 2 options there. You can attach photos or you can attach a text file. If you select photos, then you can only upload 5, like I mentioned. So if you've written more than that, and this is really the only reason you would attach a PDF file, you can attach a text file, and that file type can be a PDF. And so what you're going to do is browse for file. Either way, you just want to select the right one because attached photos only supports PNG and JPEG, and text file only supports PDFs and text documents and Word documents and ODT, which is just really old school. So once you've done that, then you can browse for the file, and you can find it right here, I believe, is my submission, and then you can submit that file, Or you could submit, instead of doing that, you could submit photos. You could attach photos instead, and the method to do that would be either to take the photo right then and there, or go into Photo Library, find those photos that you took, and unfortunately, it doesn't allow you to pick more than one at a time, so you have to go in multiple times and select all of the photos that you want to include in your essay, and you can see that I've attached each and every one. Say I had 3 pages for this essay, right? Continue. Okay, and then it's time to submit. So either method works. I'll hit submit here for the sake of showing you how it works, and you hit the submit button, you have to confirm that submission, and then you are done. Okay, so let's say you're a confident typist and you want to type this thing. Don't try to do it on your keyboard. Your 2 thumbs are not fast enough. This is only going to be worth your time if you have all 10 fingers and you're a confident typist. So take that as you will. If you are typing this thing, I really recommend you do this on a desktop or a laptop computer, or a tablet with a full-size keyboard, but it should be a physical keyboard so that you can type using all 10 fingers. This is my preferred setup. So what I would recommend, if you're gonna just do the simple one device setup, which I recommend for most of you and you're a confident typist, you're gonna set your screen up something like this. You're gonna want one browser open, one window, Chrome window open with the exam taking up about half your screen, and then you're going to want some sort of text editing application open in another window. I have Google Docs open, which I know is available to all of you. Some of you might have Microsoft Word available to you, and if you have that on your computer, I would actually recommend using that over Google Docs, because you can enable grammar and you can enable a spell check in there that's pretty good. And I would take AP, the College Board at their word when they say that you do need to disable Grammarly. Absolutely. Delete that from your system, or at least disable it until after the exam, because this is a website, right? So they're going to be able to see anything that's installed at the browser level. However, they're not going to be able to go into your system hardware and see any other grammatical tools or writing help tools, and all of the tools in Microsoft Word are going to work for you, and they are going to be none the wiser. And that's just how the world works anyway right now too. So if you have Microsoft Word, I would use that, but Google Docs also gets the job done just as well. And basically what I would recommend here is there's 2 different ways to do this. You can either save your document or export the document from Google Docs. Don't do that, by the way. But the most important thing is that you can type in these applications. And then what I would do is simply copy and paste from that document into there. And that's going to be your fastest method. And I'll show you what that process looks like. So I'll enter all of of course we're just practicing here, and then I will enter all of my personal information, agree to terms and conditions, and you'll see my timer has started, and now I can see that I have some time left, and I have my question here, and I can look at that and read that and then start typing. When I'm ready, you could attach a response here, but I would not recommend doing that. Instead, I would paste a response, because that's going to be really fast. I'll show you how it works. On a Mac, the hotkey for this is Command-C. On a PC, it's Control-C. So I'm going to just copy this text, and notice I can't type in this document, but I can Command-V or Control-V and paste my essay. Of course, that's a sad essay, but you can paste that essay into that field and then submit your work. And that took me all of 2 seconds, right? So this is by far the fastest way to submit your work. But if you prefer handwriting, and if you're going to be faster at handwriting, because that's the way we've practiced it for the past 2 trimesters, all the more power to you. That way works just as well. This is just a little bit faster in terms of getting your submission from time of finishing your essay and trying to submit it. This is going to be your quickest way. So if you can type quickly, do it just like that. Okay, so you're probably curious about the 2-device method I mentioned at the beginning of this video. The only reason this is a recommended method at all is because the AP site is not going to allow 2 instances of the test with the same testing number. So if you are testing on exam day and you want to, for instance, see the prompt on a big screen, but then submit using your good camera on your smartphone, you're going to have to use the two device method and figure out how to, like, for instance, handwrite your essay, take a photo of that essay, upload your photo to Google Drive, and then download that photo in Google Drive, and then submit that photo to the exam site on your desktop where you were reading the prompt in the first place. I don't know why you'd want to do that. I don't think it's worth your time. I think most people, most of you have really good eyes because you're like 16 or whatever, and you can see this tiny little screen and you can read even really small text on it. So I don't recommend necessarily doing that, but it's a possibility. And I recognize also that some people with other types of tests who are not who have to write, like for instance the calculus test is going to be a nightmare to do this on a desktop computer. So you're going to pretty much have to handwrite all those little symbols out. And in that case, you might really want to take a photo and then transfer it to Google Drive, download that photo, and put it into your desktop that way. But again, probably not useful for AP Lang. A couple other questions that I got about this test. Can you print the prompt? Yes, because you can print web pages, right? You can't download the prompt. There's no option to download this as a PDF, so you will be stuck printing the web page. And if you're really curious about doing that, I recommend just going into the demo site and taking a look at that. And seeing if you can print it and if it's legible when it comes out of your printer. Another really good technical question that I've received over the past couple of days is if your device, and this is true of iPhones and Android devices, is a little bit newer, it's very possible that your camera is capturing in a format called HEIF as opposed to the traditional JPEG, which is what the site requests and what it wants, what the College Board site wants. There is a way to change that setting if you want that peace of mind. Here's the method. You go into settings, you search for camera, and you pull up camera, and then you go to formats, and then you switch it to most compatible. And that's gonna force your camera to take photos that are in the JPEG format as opposed to the HEIF format, the high efficiency format. And that's just for peace of mind. I did try going into the AP exam site and uploading both a JPEG and an HEIF format photo, and both worked. It just accepted both of them. So I'm not super worried about it, but if you want that peace of mind and you want to switch your device settings to take JPEG only, you can certainly do that, and I just outlined the steps for you. So hopefully that helps. And keep the questions coming. If you have any other questions, let me know, and I will do some experiments on my end or do some research and make sure that you know exactly what you need to do to be successful and get your submission into the College Board on exam day. Thanks for watching.